Welcome to Comics League Dark. I am Jared. I'm here with Robin and Jay Heat. What's up, gents?
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
It was Lois Lane sucks. That's what the last part is. And we're here.
Kind of lost you there again.
And we're here with Jeff Hicks from World Class BS. What's up, man?
Hey, a lot's going on. It's Black Friday, so I've been kind of doing the usual, but I'm happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Anytime. I just got back from my comic book store for taking Black Friday. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is I've asked our Steam panel to prepare a list of like, let's say 5 comics that came out this year, or like really throughout all of our times collecting comics that we're especially thankful for. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'll let Jeff start if you want to start us off.
All right. These aren't in any particular order, and I know we're doing them in round robin style, so I'll just pick one. But I'm going to pick an obscure one to start off. All right. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 271. It's not a big issue. It's not one that a million people are going to say, oh, of course I know what happened to Crusher Hogan. But it's a nice story with continuity from the very first appearance of Spider-Man, and it has a good representation of who he is as a character. So it's like if you're ever wanting to know what Spider-Man's about, you could read issue 271 and kind of just get an encapsulation of the character.
There you go. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, Jay Heat, how about you? Give us one.
All right. I would say the current Aquaman run.
Jeremy Adams, Green
Aquaman. That book has no right being as good as it is. I'm sorry. It really doesn't.
Well, it's Jeremy Adams, so are we really that surprised?
But compared to where Aquaman was, like leading up to the future state and all that, compared to where we were.
You mean if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book?
Or Aquaman?
No. Oh boy.
I had to. Robert.
First of all, I want to make this clear. Mine was just for this past year. I kept mine limited to this past year because, mostly because I got too many books.
We all know you have too many books.
If I had to say what I'm most thankful for, I just say my whole collection because I've made it this far.
Give me one book right now.
Okay, number 5 on my list, the Danny Phantom graphic novels. The new one came out, and I've been a big fan of that cartoon. So having something officially continuing things on, I'm just loving it.
I dig that. That's a good one.
Yeah. What?
My one critique of and this is just for the whole show in general. My one critique of Danny Phantom is that it copies the Parker Luck formula verbatim. That is my one critique about Danny Phantom.
I would say it copies the early Parker Luck verbatim, not the from post Denny O'Neil where it was constant.
Fair enough.
Because that's the thing people have. That's the funny thing. I always have to tell people: the Parker Luck was not a stand. It was the perpetual Parker Luck was. Boy, I hear that. The perpetual Parker Luck was not a Stan Lee creation. It was from Denny O'Neil onward.
So, mine involves Peter Parker, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman.
Whoa.
Because compared to what the mainline Spider-Man books are, that was a freaking masterpiece of Spider-Man content right there.
Mm-hmm.
Peter and MJ, they're doing new stuff. His son is Venom, for frick's sake. So I'm like, okay, at least I have that. At least I have something good to look forward to. It's really, and unfortunately, it's like Marvel will keep this going a long, long time. They're not gonna like crash and burn the Ultimate line, right?
They torched it.
Thank you. What's up, Jahid?
Sorry, I just wanted to get my number 4 out of the way. I've been holding this in.
All right.
I don't remember the exact number, so bear with me in the comments. But the issue where MJ and Paul broke up, when that issue released,
all new Venom.
Thank you, all new Venom. I forget the exact number, but just the fact that you had to have actually been collecting comics at the time, because not only that's my number 4 purely because how despised Paul was, and I actually feel bad for Zeb Wells, and I just feel bad for Zeb Wells because Zeb Wells just made the best out of a bad situation because editorial chose to be petty. But Jesus Christ!
Well, that was Al Ewing who wrote that one.
Still,
yeah. I love the way that is framed, because if you look at the panel, there's sunlight,
Oh.
angels singing. Oh.
Yep, it's like the writers and the angels came and sang, "Thank the Lord."
Thank the Lord, Paul is dead. Anyway,
Well, sadly, no.
so Jeff,
Sorry about that.
Give us another one.
Oh, okay. So just for the record, I do read modern comics, but I had mainly looked at 5 comics that mean a lot to me in general since I make them. So I'm going to give older ones, but I too did buy Ultimate Spider-Man, and I collect Spider-Man in general. So I have every new issue. I'm like caught up to date, but I haven't read them all. So I can pull them out and show them off. But
we've all been there.
I'm just going to, because I'm working on every book, and I have so many issues out of the way. But let's stick with Spider-Man. This is an old one, but The Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 1 is an important comic book to me because it ties together. It was, to me, like when I got into Marvel, I should say, I didn't get into it because the cartoons were cool or the video games were fun or the toys were awesome. It was because I found it interesting and I wanted to get into like all of it. So when I was fairly young, I went back and just read everything from the beginning. And Spider-Man books start out kind of similar to how they are today. But the annual kind of just ties in, like, it was my first introduction to what the Marvel Universe was supposed to be in the 60s. So that book's great to me because it's got all the big villains at the time, the Sinister Six. It's got great pacing. And it's pretty much like, maybe Ditko's best Spider-Man story next to the Master Planner saga. So I'm an art guy. I care about the art and the inking and all that stuff. So it's just a book that means a lot to me on all.
It's a masterpiece from a structural standpoint. That issue is a masterpiece. Let's be real here.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And I read it regularly. Anytime I get a reprint of it, it's like, oh man, because I got like the big Taschen book. And the first thing I did is after I flipped through the pages, like, I'm going to read the annual because I know I love that book. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it too. I'm glad I'm around some Spider fans because usually it's a lot of DC guys. So
I fell off in recent years for obvious reasons.
Funny part is we're all DC guys, but like the way the way Robert.
May I say it? May I say it?
Yeah,
May I say it?
Go ahead.
I live in DC. I have a summer home at Marvel.
Oh, okay, that's a great way to describe it. That's
exactly how I look at it because, like, I don't buy that many Marvel books. I buy majority DC, but I do have enough of a care for Marvel where it's like, okay, let's see what you guys got going on. And then sometimes I'll be buying books for a little while, even though I know inevitably I'm going to drop them.
Yeah, it's like with me, it's
that's a good transition to my number 4.
Real quick. Yeah, with me, it's more like I've always been more of a fan of DC because they really lean into like Greek mythology, particularly Wonder Woman. So it's like that. I always really more aligned there. But obviously, I mean, Marvel has Spider-Man. You can't really hate Marvel that much.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love Batman and so many of the other big DC characters. All the guys on my shows, they want to talk about the Flash and Green Lantern. I like Green Lantern, but I've never really been into the Flash. I can just tell you the basic stuff about it.
But my number 4, this has been the longest time. Let me just put it this way. When I say I have a summer home, let's just say it's become a timeshare currently with how long these 2 runs I've been buying have been going. Al Ewing's Immortal Thor and PKJ's Hulk. I'm putting both of those because they started around the same time. They're both doing something very similar where they're a 3-part structured story, and they're both just so good.
And by Cameron has a fantastic way to put it. I used to live in Marvel, but I moved to DC for a better paycheck.
That's okay.
That's how it be sometimes.
But I was saying, both of them have been continuing on from what Cates had done in Eisner book. That's the other funny thing. But Ewing is like, he came in after both Aaron and Case just kept on having Thor doubt himself. He decided, no, Thor does not doubt himself. But he also decided, Case left the pot dangling that Thor was set to die soon. I'm going to see it through, but continue on. But he also makes references to everything, including Dan Jurgens' underrated Thor run.
There you go.
And then PKJ's Hulk. It's supposed to continue off of Immortal Hulk, but going instead of cosmic horror, it's gothic horror. And we actually have, for the first time in ages, if not ever, someone else is running around in the Hulk, while Bruce is separate.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that. I'm like, well, that's disturbing. So for me, I'm gonna put both of my my other two Marvels in one category as well. That is the New Avengers, the newer Avengers book that's going on, because they have a lot of cool stuff. It's basically synergy for the New Avengers movie that came out a while back, but it put back Bucky Barnes and Natasha, and I always felt they worked well together for that. And then actually, this is a more recent one. This is the only Age of Revelation book I'm actually enjoying. It's Iron and Frost with Iron Man and Emma Frost, because I really love that like storyline. Because here's the thing, Emma Frost and Tony, you wouldn't think it would work as well as it does, because it's like they have as characters, they're both like snooty, so it actually works out really well.
Jared, who do you have to thank for that couple? At least the initial idea.
I know, Mark Waid, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, and it's like those are the two books that I mean, obviously I'm reading Hulk and Thor and Cap and stuff, but New Avengers and Iron and Frost are the two Marvel books that when they're in my pull box, I'm always like, ooh, it's that month again. Yes. What do you want to say, Gene?
No, so wait. I want to say that. So, Jared, you're not saying you're liking the Infinity book of what they did with magic? I'm sorry.
You mean the book that pissed off the entire internet? Jeff, have you heard about this?
Which one? The one that they're trying to... Because I'm going to be on Comics Aficionados tomorrow, and Wes sent me the link. There's something going on with a book that Marvel fans want to cancel the book. What is it?
All right, Robert, elaborate.
Okay, you're aware of the backstory of Eliana Rasputin as magic, correct?
Yeah, of course.
And about how one of the things that was done to her, at least what was stated that she was taken by demons, and it's dubious if this is confirmed or not, either just abused her or worse than her. Well, and I'm not going to say certain words I'm not going to say, of course.
Thank you.
In Age of Revelation, first of all, she died and went back to limbo. So she has no access to her powers. And she's also just mentally broken by everything that happened. So what does she do? Begs and eventually is now bowing subserviently to the demons that attacked and all that abused her. And she's very, very, very subservient to them now.
In other words, she goes to her abusers and basically says, "Thank you, Master. May I have another?"
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what she does. And I'm like, who thought this was a good idea?
Now, is there anything direct to the R word? No. People are just more. The subtext was always there, so people are going to keep connecting it.
Oh.
And Jeff, that is why I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel fan, right there.
I can understand completely.
And especially when Brevoort has been in the past up front about his hatred of magic. Now, from what people have tried to say, oh no, he hated that SA stuff. Then why are they really emphasizing it?
I know that's like it got to the point where Tim Seeley he got bullied off of Twitter because here's the thing. When the fan base goes after a creator, what they're forgetting is sometimes it is the creator who is to blame. I want to be clear on this, but a lot of times it's really editorial that is severely dropping the ball.
Yep, and especially when this is an Infinity digital comic, more than likely it was orders.
But anyway, what you want to say, G? You had your hand up.
Ed Brubaker's Captain America run. That's my number 3.
The best Captain America run, like of all time.
I reread it at least once a year. It's a solid character arc for Bucky. It's pretty much the foundation for a lot of modern storylines. I mean, it is. I'm not going to say it's perfection, because no comic.
You can say that. You're on my channel. You can say that.
I reread it at least once a year, and that's why I'm grateful for it. It's my number 3, especially with someone.
Cover it, by the way.
Yeah, I've been caught up with other projects, but it is a masterpiece. If you have not read any real Captain America and it's just going purely by the MCU, I highly recommend Ed Brubaker's run from start to finish. It is a masterpiece.
The funny part about that is that was around the time when they were like, okay, here are two characters that can never come back to life. Bucky Barnes and Jason Todd. And they came back
Uncle
to
Ben.
life. Well, they came back to life within a month of each other.
Now, to be fair, that was pure coincidence.
No, I know it was pure coincidence, but I love how that turned out. But all right, Jeff, how about another one?
All right, I will veer off of Marvel because I do have a DC book on this. And
all right,
Batman Year One, because
Nice.
I like the story, obviously. Frank Miller. I mean, there really isn't a lot to add to the conversation. People love him, people hate him, X, Y, and Z. But I like David Mazzucchelli's artwork more than I like a lot of other artists on Batman, because when I look at comics and when I like to make them and stuff, I don't like super overly rendered artwork. Like a McFarlane isn't my favorite, but a guy like David Mazzucchelli or
Tim Sale.
Tim Sale is completely fine. I will not read a book because of Tim Sale's artwork. If somebody's like, hey, Tim Sale's on, like, I like Spider-Man Blue. I like his work, but I like the guys like that take the artwork and make it simplified but realistic proportions. So like Alex Toth, John Romita Sr. is my favorite. So I just love the artwork of Batman Year One. I like the designs, the suit. I mean, it's a great Batman story. What else is there to say about it?
Plus the fact, here's the thing about that is like, what I'm about to say is pretty obvious. It reads like a straight crime comic, not necessarily just a Batman story, because it's also a Jim Gordon story. So it doubles as both of their origins because of how closely tied they are.
Good, and it's a balance, and the story itself is very balanced, which is a very hard thing to do, especially with modern noir stories. You need to have that balance, especially if you're trying to have two protagonists in the same structure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Robert, how about you?
Okay, this one, I decided this is a huge umbrella, but I just kind of, because this one I will go beyond just this year. Intercompany crossovers in general. Crossovers, between two companies by that. Marvel, DC, Godzilla, Marvel. All of these different crossovers have been a huge thing, especially the past decade.
Yeah, like Predator killing the entire Marvel universe and actually
Batman, Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
How about the most unlikely? Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob.
Is Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob less likely than Archie meets the Punisher?
That is.
I can't believe of all the things they could cross over, it's Archie and the Punisher.
Yeah. I would say, well, back then it made more sense in the '90s. He wasn't this was pre-Garth Ennis.
That's my favorite version of the Punisher, not the Archie book, but like the pre-Garth Ennis.
Yeah,
I like my Punisher violent, but not like. There's one issue where he takes like lawnmower blade or some kind of arch blade into a bathroom and just starts cutting dudes' feet off and stall. And I'm like, this is just way too weird for me.
Right.
Down. I like my Punisher in his van with microchip and other shit, but
right. But like I said, but it includes the amalgam, it includes all of those. Is one thing I'm thankful for, showing that people can get along.
Yeah, exactly.
Batman Turtles.
My number 2, Jeremy Adams on frickin' Green Lantern.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. That is a good one.
The fact that you could take the Jeff Johns run of Green Lantern, go straight through that, skip all the other BS like Hal punching God, and then just go straight in there, and you are relatively good.
Until recently, you kind of need the Thorn run currently.
No, but what I mean is that short of a few things that you may need explanations on, it feels like the same. Like,
right where that run left off. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I love how it's throughout the Starbreaker Supremacy. He resolves so much stuff done since Lights Out. With Vendetti's run.
Yeah, it's like he brought back the Lantern Corps, and I always thought that was stupid that they got rid of it, and I'm like, yes, I'm like, thank you. But I'm like, guys, you literally, it's like when, it's like, the way I've always thought about it is that, so Jeff Johns painted a masterpiece, and then slowly but surely, writers came in and just erased the masterpiece, and they're like, I want to add a new Lantern Corps, a gold Lantern Corps, because that's
Hero shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly. And
well, Adams did it right. He had to be. It was all done because the emotional spectrum has gone kaflunky.
But I do love Adams created a meme, the sad lantern. What's his emotion? Sadness. And he's all gray. I know, Jeff. Yeah, exactly.
But I will also say though, the fact that with
yeah, exactly.
That meme lives rent free in my head.
The tiny violin from SpongeBob.
I know this really truly is the world's smallest violin.
Yeah, exactly.
But seriously, yeah, I have to agree. This is the best it's been writing wise in a long time. Nothing against Thorne or Vendetti or anything. I mean, I will still say it. Morrison, the entire thing from Jeff Johnston now, Morrison's is the only one that kind of throws a bit of a detour. If you cut that out and everything, if you follow from that to Vendetti, to Thorne, to Adams, it does do a continuous narrative.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And the other thing, again, it's like, and also when you add on Green Lantern Corps, where he finds ways to use all the other like human lanterns that are like on the side and not really doing stuff, like Jessica, like Simon. Although I will say again, another thing I'm thankful for, it's addendum to this, is the special features for Batman.
Oh no!
So what happens, Jeff, is that Jessica Cruz is the Green Lantern in that Batman Ninja sequel. So the visual guy was not really knowledgeable about her, so we did research. Then he literally phrases it in the special features that I saw. She had a sidekick named Simon Baz,
which is funny because he came first.
Being a sidekick now.
And here's the other thing: they also did the impossible. They actually made Teen Lantern viable,
which that was the impossible. All right, Jeff, how about another book? Let's go.
All right, we're keeping it from the era before I was born. Dark Phoenix Saga from the John Byrne and Chris Claremont.
Of course.
Hey, classic.
That whole run is a masterpiece if we're being honest.
That's really kind of, see, I would put that on there, but I also don't want to discredit Dave Cockrum because his artwork really does change X-Men, and John Byrne kind of picks up and cleans it up, and I think John Byrne's better, but I would have to include Dave Cockrum for doing that full run because the books are great. Like, the X-Men are not my favorite book. I think they're my favorite team book because I find myself liking so many of the characters. But there's one common denominator, and they're all Chris Claremont issues, excuse me. So I love his entire run. But the Dark Phoenix books are just awesome, like in a row. And then I think right before it, you're in the Savage Land because they're trapped across another part of the country. They have to get back from Japan, then they go to Canada, and then they come back to America. Then I think the Dark Phoenix saga starts. It's just like this great run of books, and the artwork, every page is great because you got to give Terry Austin his just due with the inks. Like, it's just like, to me, that's what comic books are. A cool continuing story with nice, crisp artwork that is easy to read. I love Jim Lee. He's like one of my favorites of all time, but while his rendering is beautiful, I find sometimes that I look at his pages and I'm so blown out by the spectacle of the detail that the flowing narrative that I like in a comic book page isn't necessarily there as much. So that's why I always use the John Byrne era as my favorite, because that dude's characters move better than like a Jim Lee who just has the best looking, holy crap, I can't believe this is drawn by a person action shot.
The other thing that Claremont does really well, because as comic book readers, we like action scenes in books. We like to see like gods punch each other. But Claremont can make just two characters sitting around and talking the most awesome thing around somehow,
and not make it word salad or obnoxious. Which is
exactly, because too many writers. There was no issue in his run that I've read so far that I would consider like essentially filler, because everything is like, oh, this is so much. I am engrossed right now. And it's like, that takes that takes a master if you can figure out how to make that look good.
I will say to that, I will say for his earliest initial run, yes. Anything he does lately, I'd argue that.
I'm talking about the initial run. Don't worry about
right, because like his Exiles, ooh.
I haven't read anything new he's put out in a long time. I am
probably for the best.
Who got this right?
He has similar to Bendis. I know I'm gonna get clipped for this, but similar to Bendis, he has fallen off at old age. Go ahead and play the clip.
Why did you say that name?
Thank you, Jed.
Why is it?
Not be named because of his stupid Superman run. I just want to be clear on that.
Did Jay do his number 2?
No, I did not.
All right.
Red Robin 2009.
Yes!
Ooh.
Love that run!
Who wrote that?
Chris Yost for the first half and then Fabian Nicieza for the second half.
Nice.
I prefer Chris Yost's half, if I'm being honest, because of everything going on in Batman Reborn. Everything going on in First of all, Tim peaked in Red Robin 09. I will be the first to say I will openly admit that. I will fight on that hill. Because from first of all becoming Red Robin out of spite to finally growing to his own, getting Ra's al Ghul's respect and being called the second detective, everything was going for him. The only fault I would have is maybe some of the filler issues and a couple crossovers in other books here and there. But
that was the only one was the Batgirl book. No, Batgirl and then the Judgment of Gotham.
Like I said, it's one of the strongest of the Batman Reborn initiative. It's one of the stronger books. The strongest one is Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison, hands down. That's the strongest one. But it's Batman and Robin Reborn, Red Robin, Batgirl, and then Detective.
Awesome.
That's how I rank them.
That's a good one. Robert, how about you, dude?
Something I'm thankful for, and because we lost that man this year, Peter David.
So true. So true.
Any book by Peter David.
Oh, anything. Yeah, his Supergirl, which I went over with Britt. His Captain Marvel was Jenna's Vel, which I'm also starting to go over with her, Britt, on that. Yeah, his Spider-Man work. He still writes one of the funniest Spider-Man, and yet he'll also be able to do dramatic Spider-Man. His Hulk.
He wrote one of the earliest comics I ever read. That's not a Marvel superhero book, but it's a Marvel book. He wrote the prequel book to Tron Legacy.
Yep.
I read that. It's really fun. And he also wrote the adaptation of the movie.
Yep, he did that. Like I said, his Hulk run. He's the one who, but he and Mantlo were the two that set the gold standard. More Peter David, of course, for the Hulk. Yeah.
And just to respond to Cameron's comment right quick, the Red Robin name was never changed. DC's just not allowed to use the costume due to a falling out they had
with Alex. Because of the Alex Ross thing, really?
Yeah, with Alex Ross, because he created the Kingdom Come suit. So
man, that's why.
Yeah, they had a falling out with Alice Ross, and you have to do a licensing dispute with the Red Robin Burger Joint anytime you use the name.
That joke constantly was going on when that book was going. Red Robin, yum.
So for me, my number one, the entire goddamn Absolute line of comics. That provides a perfect alternative. Lord knows, as a Wonder Woman fan, it's nice to have a good Wonder Woman book because currently the Tom King run is not worth the toilet paper it's printed on. So it's nice to have an alternative where the character is obviously really represented like extremely well. And actually, Dave brings up a good point. Tom King is probably thankful that he has a career every day. We can only hope, brother. We can only hope. And also, the Absolute books gave us the great image of Batman punting a baby. That he literally just drops the kid and just he's holding the dude up and goes, "You can't throw me, I'm a kid," and then he just drops him and kicks him.
Have you read the one in the 70s where Batman is trying to save a kid who's possessed by a demon, and then he ends up just like letting him fall and die to his death?
What?
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like the whole like this guy that's like doctor who's friends with Batman. Like not Bruce Wayne, he's friends with Batman. Like his whole family is friends with Batman. He dies, and like he goes to the funeral, and it's like this weird, like Wicker Man style story. But it ends with Batman letting this little kid die. He's just like,
right. By the way, can I answer Dave's question quickly?
Do you feel James Robinson has fallen off as hard as those writers? Starman was peak, one of his greatest comics.
With the exception of Cry for Justice, no.
Yeah, because his other stuff is pretty good.
I'm sorry, I hate to curse on your channel, but Cry for Justice was just edgy as hell. That book has no reason being remembered for the way it is.
I agree. That's like that, with the exception of that. No, I wouldn't say he's fallen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
I mean, Earth too.
Yeah, exactly. So, so now I think this is a good point. So, Jeff, tell us about stealing Solo.
Wait. What about the rest of our number ones?
Oh yeah. Actually, first, who hasn't given?
You're the only one who went.
All right, Jeff, go. Number one.
I'll be basic. Okay, so if I was being really nitpicky, a specific issue would be like Spider-Man. I think it's 88 or 89, just for the artwork. Because if I'm being like a super art nerd, it's Gil Kane pencils and John Romita inks, and Spider-Man hasn't looked better. Like those are the kind of images you see on T-shirts. So I like that book for that reason. But if we're doing storylines, I really do, as a Spider-Man fan, I really do like Kraven's Last Hunt. That
yeah.
I have it in floppies. I have the hardback edition. I have, because when I collect Spider-Man, when I looked at it, I had 80% of every book that Spider-Man ever appeared in. I've done the work. And I read most of those books, and Kraven always tops that list. It's just a great story.
Do you have Saul the Hunter?
When is that a trade paperback?
No, it's a one-shot. It's a one-shot. Saul the Hunter was a follow-up that J.M. DeMatteis did because people were talking about, wait, he committed suicide. His soul's going to be, tainted. Oh, well, I better fix that.
Let me look at the cover real quick.
It was a one-shot, like I said. It was a one-shot.
I have it. Yeah, I have this book.
Nice.
Yeah,
I have like really obscure Spider-Man stuff too.
Yeah. Kraven's Last Hunt is one of those stories that when you describe it to someone, it's like, it's one of those crazy things in the world. Oh yeah, Kraven drinks spider venom to become a spider, and then he has to fight a mound of spiders like it's Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Play this. You know what story that got released later afterwards? It originally started as Going Sane. Batman Going Sane.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, Jay Heat, go.
My number one is Planet Hulk / World War Hulk.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no list would be completed without that title. I'm sorry.
When Hulk shows up and kicks everyone's ass, yes.
The setup, the tragedy, the world building of Sakaar, everything was just solid.
Hey, Jay Heat, I didn't come to hear you whisper. I came to hear you
scream.
And then we don't see the fight, and I'm like, oh come on.
And even worse, it was a scroll.
Yeah, I know. That's the other. When you look at Secret Invasion, it really lowers the stakes of a lot of those storylines.
Yeah, but it only in retrospect, which that I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But it's like, I just love where Hulk shows up and he goes, okay, New York, I've been screwed over by the Illuminati. I need to smash something. I'm going to give you a day to evacuate, and then I'm just going to destroy the entire city.
Yep.
That was so good. All right. Has everyone?
Me.
All right, Robert, go. Impress me.
I know the person. Well, the hero that got me into comics in the first place. The one everyone thinks of when it comes to superhero, Superman.
Okay.
I am thankful for Superman, especially this year's summer of Superman. Is some of the best the character has been handled, in my opinion, in a long time. You have Williamson, you have Slott. Slott's been doing some good stuff. You have Wade, you have I guess it's now last stuff at DC, PKJ. You got Jurgens doing the Treasury edition. You have Supergirl. You have the Crypto book. It was like, well, but that was a year ago. I'm talking about the summer of that was going on this year.
Okay,
but yeah, you have so much that's been going on that's been so incredible. Again, especially Williamson's run on Superman in general. In fact, he brought back Lena Luthor. In fact, we got Lois as Superwoman.
Notice no one's going, yes, whenever you say Lois a Superwoman. By the way,
I know the audience.
By the way, Jeff, in case you haven't noticed, I hate Lois Lane.
Is there a specific reason? What did the character do that made you hate her?
let me clarify. I hate comics, Lois. Movies and TV is fine. The reason why I hate her is because in the past, DC has used, because I'm more of a Superman Wonder Woman type of guy, and DC
Okay.
has used Superman and Lois to shit on that pairing. So I'm like, I'm not real, because at that point, she's being used for an agenda. Plus, here's the problem. The way I kind of see a problem with Lois, that if you notice, with a lot of Lois stories previously, they keep turning her into other characters. Like when they made her the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, but had her literally act straight up like Perry White. Or when they gave her superpowers and basically made her Timu Wonder Woman. So I'm like, guys, if you have to constantly keep changing the character like this. Oh, and let's not forget where she fought the Eradicator in a Hellbat suit to save John. And I go, how does she know how to use Batman's armor?
Because
Because exactly. That's when I'm like, okay, you know what? I really don't. If you're trying to tell me this character's awesome, it should stand on their own. Plus, then the mortal sin is that ultimately every Lois story is going to resort to Superman will save her. That's it. There's no stakes with that.
I mean, it could be said for other love interests.
No, I know, Robert. I know, but we're talking about Lois right now. That's the fun part about this dynamic, Jeff. Robert really loves Lois, and I either.
I just think of like 1940 Superman serial Lois Lane, where she's like, all right, Chief, and she goes off to try to break some story, and Superman swoops in to save her after she gets, I don't know, too deep. That's kind of what, like Lois Lane, maybe that or like Margot Kidder. I like Superman a lot, and I like the new movie, and I collect a lot of toys, as you can tell, and Superman's a big part of this collection.
Yeah.
But I just like classic Superman. I think a lot of superheroes in general, like once they get, retconned or re-evolve or something, that's kind of when I check out. Because I'll read a lot of like who's it from the past. I like Golden Age, whatchamacallit. Golden Age Green Lantern's kind of fun, and Silver Age is fun. But then after a certain point, I go, just give me the classic stuff. Like I can do all the different lanterns, but
here's a recommendation for you. Check out Superman Wonder Woman by Charles Sewell from the new 52. I'll get the cover as a matter of fact so I can show you. This is the foundation. It's right here.
All right.
It's really good. That's where it's like, okay, I prefer this. And again, it's like, look, I get it. And again, movie and TV and cartoon Lois, that's fine with me. It's just I don't like how she's been written in the comics as a character. Because movies and that's pretty fine. I mean, I enjoy James Gunn's Lois, and that should tell you something. There hasn't really been a Lois except for keep forgetting the actress name. The one in the Dean Cain show. That one I really didn't like.
Oh, yeah, that was the big case of how dumb was she?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you really couldn't tell? I'm like,
that's where the joke came from.
Yeah. Oh, and DC and the one in the animated universe they made.
Dikembe Lois barely got anything to do. By the time they course corrected the whole New 52 stuff and Super Wonder, Lois only got Death and Reign. Other than that, she barely played any role except being an honorary member of the Suicide Squad just to break Clark out of his possession of Trigon. Dikembe Lois barely got anything to do, is all I'm saying.
And when she did get stuff to do, it was freaking awful. That's all I'm saying. So, Jeff, tell us about Stealing Solo.
So, Stealing Solo is the new one. We're talking about the sequel. So the original Stealing Solo is about a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans who kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement. And that
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I have put it on a website, and a lot of people have bought the books, and I've gotten a lot of emails over the last few years like, when are you going to tell the sequel? What are you going to tell the sequel about? When can I get it? Well, the answer is now, and I'll tell you what it's about, because this is part 2 in a trilogy. Very much like Star Wars is centered or focused on a trilogy. Stealing Solo is a trilogy. So right now we're in our dark phase. The Empire Strikes Back story. So Stealing Solo, The Power of the Farce is about Mark Hamill, who is spurned on by the jealousy that Harrison Ford receives from his kidnapping, and he decides that it'll jumpstart his career even bigger if he kidnaps the kidnappers and forces them to remake his bad Star Wars movie. So it's inspired by The Killing Joke. When I wrote this story, anytime I was doing Mark Hamill dialogue, because it's a parody, I wanted to think, like, how could I make it the most extreme? Well, yeah, you can write Star Wars dialogue and make it kind of like, but I thought I need to make this one extreme. So I went full on Joker, and he's very crazy in this book. But it follows the guys. They have to remake their Star Wars movie, and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which ties into the third book, Frankenfisher, or about the re-exhumed corpse of Carrie Fisher. We've talked about that on
Oh my God.
Yeah. I go for it in these books. I'm like, if I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm an old school one, and I have like an edge to it because I don't buy into just like anything that's Star Wars. My books came from, I hated Disney Star Wars. I thought The Force Awakens was garbage. And I was like living in this weird bubble where everybody I met had this big smile on their face. And wasn't it the greatest thing ever? And I'm the one guy going, no, it's kind of dumb. And so for years, I just kind of carried this, not anger, but this disappointment in society that they think this movie is so great. It's so crap. And it took The Last Jedi to come out to kind of convince people that these movies were shit all along. So we're finally here at the point where I'm making fun of this one, and it's a sharper parody. It makes fun of Disney and Star Wars and JJ and Kathleen Kennedy and all that stuff, but it really at its core is it's its own narrative about what happens when you take something that's important to somebody and you kind of just ruin it for profit. And so it's played for laughs. It's a big dark comedy, and it ties into this third book, which is a all-out kind of zombie apocalypse thing where it's us versus the army of the undead franchises. But Stealing Solo 2 is a good jumping on point for anybody because, as a writer or as a fan of comics, you guys want a complete story. And so personally, everything I do is a complete story. So these are graphic novel sized books. They're not just a floppy. They're all perfect bound. I use hard cardstock, laminated gloss cover, all that fun stuff. But I wanted to tell these big stories in a complete manner and not keep people hanging. So when you get one of these books, you can get a full story multiple times over. But it's kind of how I want to establish myself as a creator, more than just, let me do a superhero book every quarter or something. I wanted to tell these big, different, bizarre stories that kind of represent a lot of pop culture fandoms, a lot of what would you do in this situation? How would you handle it? And I play it up for laughs, and luckily, the responses I get out of my books they're funny. They make them laugh out loud. And to me, that's the only job I'm trying to do. So, that's Stealing Solo 2 right now.
I like it. Let's check out
Nice.
the trailer.
Thank you.
So dramatic.
Thank you.
The action figure.
I actually read this, not gonna lie.
Oh,
So did I.
oh, that's good. Shit. Oh my God, it's good. Oh boy. The blue milk. Approved by no one. This is a parody. I love that.
I have a quick question to ask. Could I just look over through it? Is there a way of getting a copy of the first issue besides that large sit one at near the end?
Absolutely. I have it as an add-on, but I have a Stealing Solo website, stealingsolo.com. So if you want to read that book, you can just go get a copy there, and I ship out books. Like, let's say hypothetically, like, I got to have it today. So you get it tonight. I'll probably ship out your copy tomorrow or Monday. So I'm a pretty fast turnaround.
Mhm.
And I have a couple of books on my website. So just go to the Stealing Solo
all
website,
right.
and
I'll check that out.
I keep all my back stock on there because I work cons and I sell them through the website. So that's kind of how
All
I keep
right.
the comics going.
Hey, what's up, Hojo? And I love Dave. He goes, "It's in Legends canon." Oh yeah, the good canon, in other words.
So there was a story that revealed that Star Wars did happen a long time ago, and that eventually George. If I remember right, the joke is George actually found R2, who showed him everything.
That would be great.
So yeah, it is. Everything is canon.
There we go.
It reminds me a lot the concept of that movie Fanboys that came out a while ago of the people of the guys that travel cross country to break into Skywalker's ranch to see episode 1, and they're like, "What if the movie sucks?"
That's my favorite part of that whole movie.
Yeah, I especially love it that the person they show to, guy who's supposed to is going to be dying and everything. After he sees it, he doesn't have the heart to tell him.
Yeah, I know. That's the best part.
See, that's the vibe cause the way the story came about is we were joking on the podcast, God, 8 years ago. And I was like, man, what if we kidnapped Harrison Ford? And then it was like, what if we did this? And what if we did that? And by the end of that live show, the outline was kind of created. And so people were like, do it. And so I did. So that's how Stealing Solo came to exist. But like, you know, I love superheroes and I love to draw superheroes, classic style stuff. But I like to tell, like I said, a funny story. And I wanted to stand out in a way that's like, you can find 1,000,001 superhero stories, but I've never seen stories like this where it's like you can tell something a little deeper, but also make fun of the thing in like the meanest way possible. So you joke about blue milk. I make fun of blue milk. I make fun of rubber suits and overuse of CGI. A good portion of the book takes place in this like movie studio, and there's a lot of green screen, and it has a lot of commentary about how movies are made, how they're kind of soulless. And I think that's what people will realize with the whole theme of the trilogy when it's done, is it's more of like not just an indictment of Star Wars and like, I'm disappointed as a fan. It's more of an indictment of popular culture and how low we've put the bar at for what's acceptable, good, or classic. And so I figure, why not make fun of what the most classic thing is with its, you know.
Let me guess, Frankenfish is going to be about the zombified fans who just either get it no matter what, or how the franchises just keep going and going.
So actually, we don't ever interact with other people. That's one of the running jokes in these books. In the first book, like, the only crowd you'll see is at the opening of episode 7 when I'm like disappointed. I yell at this little kid, like, "What the hell did you just watch, little kid?" That kind of thing. And then, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but these are very much like. I was just
guessing.
Oh, there's literally an army of undead franchises, but I write these in a way where it's like, to a degree, they're very believable in terms of like the first book. How could you get so many people to corroborate a kidnapping if 2 guys say yes and 2 guys say no? So I had to write one of the main guys out of the story so I could make the kidnapping believable. And now this time I don't have to worry about that as much because we're all accountable for the kidnapping, and it's a lot more fun this time.
I love that. That's great, and that's the interesting thing about like the funny thing that Disney doesn't realize. It's a bad idea to piss off Star Wars fans because you will be parodied for all time.
George learned that the hard way.
The
People versus George Lucas.
I remember that movie.
When you pissed off when you pissed off Star Wars fans, that was about the worst thing you could do.
I'll be honest, though, I do not care for the fans who went after George, though. That was like, guys, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
See, I'm of a mindset of like, I dislike episode 1, but I was also 10 years old when it came out, so I wasn't growing up with like all this hatred of whatever. It was like, I just didn't like that movie as a kid, so I just gave up on Star Wars.
I look at episode 1. I'm sorry. I look at episode 1 as a means to an end. You needed it for 2 so we can get the Clone Wars started, and then also those were needed for 3, which, let's be honest, was the story he wanted to tell.
And 3's a good movie. I can't lie to you and say
3 is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Same here.
It's my favorite of the prequels. I like the original. Like, I like them actually in the order they were made. 1, 2, 3. Well, 4, 5, 6. Then I like 3, 1, 2.
So it goes reverse. No, not reverse.
I think that like up until the Disney ones came out, I thought episode 2 was the worst one because it had the worst acting.
I know.
Easiest. But
Mhm.
somehow
Oh,
got
come
worse.
on,
And
Jeff. So you're telling me you don't like sand?
it's coarse and irritating and it gets everywhere.
And I love how he's stroking her arm very like stalkery, or like I love where he basically confesses to her. It's like, I committed genocide. I killed men, women, and the children too. And she's like, we've made mistakes in the past. And
Yeah.
I go, you just
Mhm.
committed genocide.
This is why that's one thing I like about the Ahsoka show. It gave Hayden a chance to show, no, I can do good.
Yeah, it's the Anakin Skywalker parts of Ahsoka were the best parts of that, because it's like, okay, it wasn't. Well, even episode 3. Episode 3 is like, it clearly wasn't Hayden because he did infinitely better in 3 than he did in 2.
Oh yeah, but I just say with the Ahsoka stuff, and from what I understand, Hayden actually watched the Clone Wars show, and understood, got the mannerisms and everything, and of the actor and the way the character was portrayed to make sure he knew where he'd be at.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, because there are certain parts of when Hayden is speaking to Ahsoka where he sounds like Matt Lanter.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, okay, that actually works. So, Jeff, tell us about the tiers for your book.
So we have the basic book. We have an A cover and a B cover. So the A cover is this wraparound image that you see in front of you that looks like the Star Wars poster. It'll have its text and stuff a little different. But the B cover is the one that's a riff on the toy box variant, because I love toys. One of my video series are toys. So I thought we'll tie it together. And that has a unique back cover. But you can get the book. You can get the book and the poster, the book and the shirt and the poster. I have tiers like that. We also have combo packs where you can get both covers, everything in one package. Because I've been doing this for a while, and people like t-shirts and they like posters and they like these things. And it's cool that people want to wear a shirt with my art on it. So I always want to give everybody what they want and make it as convenient as possible, and in a nice way where you can tie everything together, because everything's custom made to order for you guys. So you won't be able to buy this stuff in stores. I don't have any of the Stealing Solo merchandise available. So this box, this deluxe one, there's only 7 left. You'll get the rare sketch cover variant, which I literally have 11 of left. So I'm going to keep one for my collection, and you're getting the rarest thing that I've ever produced, because that's all that exists. And the box that it comes in is super rare as well. It's out of reach right now, but it's like a custom printed box. So you're going to get, because like I said, I'm a collector. I really care about how the stuff looks and feels and is. So I go all out on that stuff.
But, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I had to step out for a bit. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the tiers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tiers. But yeah, it's like with me too. It's like because I'm in the process of crowdfunding as well, and then that's the part that's kind of interesting about coming up with the tiers, because it's more like, okay, how do I get what do I give to people so it's a reasonable value for the price, but also it's like it's not like destroying me. In other words.
I've found, like, for me personally, I will, the story and the art to me are like, they're in their own category, because if you're buying a comic or a project, you expect them to be over here, like the quality, the best you can make. But I always try to add value in terms of like premium paper or like a perfect binding, because when I started doing this, I walked into a half-price bookstore and I saw a copy of 30 Days of Night. And I was like, okay, this isn't the world's biggest graphic novel, but let me see what's in it and stuff. So I always go like bonus pages. So for example, when you would get an old, like say a G.I. Joe, you remember how they would have those like action cards on the back, and stats and all that? These books, since I want to do action figures, I do pages where I'll draw the character as an action figure, and then we have like a card about their stats and their appearances in Stealing Solo 1 or Woke Busters or stuff like that. So that's how I find that I'll add value, is I just, you add as much as you can between the covers. Because as a fan, like, I love to see sketch versions of the pages, or I love to see roughed out, unlettered pages, or this or that. And so that's how I always, I'm charging you $25 for a book, but I'm making sure you get your value on every page. So I find that people like it that way.
Can I reference something that's going on in the chat at the moment?
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
to correct something. The Jake Lloyd thing, that was just his classmates that bullied him. It wasn't other fans. It was just his classmates. I think so many people like to always say, oh, it was Star Wars fans in general. No, it was just his school classmates. Nothing else.
And his mom was even on record talking about that.
Yeah, but I just wanted to correct that because that's always been a big, huge misunderstanding. Now, Jar Jar was another story.
Jar Jar was another story.
Yeah.
I'm glad, though, he's going to be co-writing a Jar Jar comic soon. Maybe we'll finally get Darth Jar Jar.
Oh my gosh! Imagine if they actually canonized that Jar Jar becomes a Sith Lord because everyone crapped on him. Oh my god! Disney is that way that I could definitely see them doing it.
Then it goes against the rule of two, which is always been silly to me.
Yeah.
An apprentice, nothing more, nothing less. It's like, okay, Yoda. But only Sith deals in absolutes. You're dealing in an absolute. Are you a Sith? That makes no sense. Like, it all falls apart.
That's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. I never thought of that. I'm like, yeah. Also, so there's only two of you, but there's an army of Jedi. That makes no sense.
Oh, no. It's because, here's why. Actually, it does make sense. Because you had the Sith Wars long ago, and that showed the problem of having so many of them. They're all going to want power. They're all going to fight each other for it. Keeping it to two, a master and an underling, a master with the vision and an underling that works for him makes more sense of keeping it controlled and contained.
Yeah, I'm gonna debate on that.
I understand that, and again, it's the reason why they've been able to keep under the Jedi's nose for so long.
I'm more of like a Empire versus Rebel Alliance Star Wars guy. So like whenever because I may not like the Disney stuff, but I will still support like original Star Wars. I'll still watch it. And I've always been like, I like the ground battles, the spaceship battles.
Yep.
Han Solo is my favorite character. Like, I love Skywalker. I mean, hell, here he is right here, one of the newer figures. But I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe back in the day I thought Jedis were cool, or the Jedi were cool. But then episode 1 came out and they're like kind of like monks. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't think robes and long hair look very cool because I went to Catholic school. So I was like, this guy looks like Jesus. And I went, that's the coolest thing. And so I just didn't like the episode 1 Jedi. And then you get to 2 and it talks about how they're supposed to have no emotional connections and this and that. And, I'm like 14 years old and I'm like, a Jedi can't know love or a woman? That doesn't sound very cool. So I just, I never.
And then 3, they screw everyone over because they were a dick to the chosen one.
Yeah. And I'm like, why, as a fan, I could never get behind the Jedi, because I get it that it's a power fantasy and we would all love to be able to levitate stuff with our hands and grab stuff, use the Force, pull levers. Believe me, we've all dreamed about it.
Yeah.
That's why I always liked Kyle Katarn. That's why I always think Kyle Katarn's my favorite.
He's cool.
The other funny thing about the prequel Jedi is that when you take into account Clone Wars, where Mace Windu has fought alongside Anakin Skywalker for however long the Clone Wars last, episode 3 he's like, I don't trust him, and I'm like, hey, a-hole, he's fought alongside you for years. What are you doing?
Why is it that the Clone Wars, both versions, show a much cooler version of Star Wars than George Lucas was able to post?
I don't know. Because when you read his original story for what he thought the Clone Wars was, it's significantly lamer.
Yeah, and I think I'm the first one to critique a lot of his stuff, but he tripped into gold with the Clone Wars, because I thought the Clone Wars could have gone on forever as a show, because it was, to me, it redeemed Star Wars. I like that too. And then the Clone Wars came out and I went, wow, maybe the prequel era isn't that bad. Maybe there's 2 bad movies and now we're going to get some gold. And we did. And it got me liking Cad Bane and all these random characters. I thought that show was cool.
It definitely was. And it's the thing is it went in. When you look at how much of Star Wars lore was expanded just by that show, where the son, and we almost got Darth Revan brought back, and I was so pissed off when that didn't happen, because Revan's my favorite Star Wars character, who hasn't been in a movie yet. He was in a game, but they screwed up the follow-up to said game. But when you look at it, and it's like the other thing that Clone Wars did really well is they made the clones actual characters instead of just generic foot soldier 226. It's like when you have Rex and Cody, all these commanders were like badasses, and the clones were like, "Come on, clankers!"
And the fact that you have someone like Ahsoka, people hate it when she first appeared, but by the end, she's so beloved.
Yeah,
she was cool.
Yeah, and then you had like the Bad Batch and like all these other like errors that started to like connect to the original trilogy. But it's like Clone Wars is one of those things where for the longest time, because there wasn't a lot of Star Wars like films coming out around that time period, it really kept Star Wars in the cultural zeitgeist when you really think about it.
It kept them afloat. I'll be the first to admit that it kept them relevant. But at least in my opinion, at least the originals and the prequels always had two core themes. The prequels was a tragedy of how someone who's been tormented, born into slavery, and basically a traumatized kid given absolute power or a path to absolute power. They're going to indulge their most selfish tendencies because that's just what a person would do in that situation, regardless of how they justify it. Whereas the original trilogy is more of a story about heroism, the hero's journey, and just overcoming an evil faction. The sequels, it has no real theme at all. It's just a glorified cash grab throughout.
No. It has a theme. It's called nostalgia.
And and kill it if you have to.
I hate Last Jedi as much as anybody, but Last Jedi attempted to have a theme. I'll give them that. It attempted to have a theme.
It was a bad theme.
Poor execution, and the fact that its director, Rian Johnson, openly admitted that he would troll if he ever made a Star Wars movie or got the opportunity to make one. He openly admitted he would troll the fan base with his script the first chance he got.
And guess what just got canceled? His trilogy of Star Wars films that no one wanted.
That was never coming out.
Yeah, it was never coming out, man. That's what I was about to say. Like, even if you took me back to 2017 when they were like, he's going to get a trilogy. No, he's not. I knew it. After watching that movie, you can dupe the internet once with nostalgia. Once.
Stick the Knives Out.
Knives Out is not bad.
No. That's what I'm saying. He should stick to Knives Out.
I think he should stick with Poker Face and Knives Out and literally anything else he wants to do with his life. But don't ever let that guy touch
Star
an established property. Any established property. Like, don't let him touch James Bond. Don't let him touch Ghostbusters. Don't let him touch Indiana Jones needs to die. Don't let him touch Batman. Like, nothing.
Yep. Now I want to say one thing quickly, before we get off the topic from it. One thing going back to George's original plan. So originally the Clone Wars, there was a bigger gap between the present day and the Clone Wars, which explains why Han said, didn't really understand about the Force. Like, I don't believe in the Force.
Or
explain
how Obi-Wan is so old.
Yeah, but especially though and Han not knowing about the Force. Explain it to me how for as long it's only been the gap has been between how long Luke has been alive.
Yeah, 19 years.
Yeah, explain that. How can Harry and Han have no idea about the Force when the Jedi were everywhere?
Now, here's the one way I will try to explain it. Here's why. To a certain degree, it makes sense. Here's why. Because there are times where, now I'm not sure if there's actual canon to back this up, but my head canon is that when the Sith took over, when the Empire rose, they purged all the records of
Jedi memorabilia, anything.
Yeah, of all that. And they did sack the Jedi Temple. So after a certain time period, people would start to forget about the Force. Plus, no one really has seen Darth Vader in action. He's supposed to be like this badass, but it's like
but 19 years.
Yeah, it can't happen like that.
Yeah, but 19 just seems a little too pushing, and for him to be that dismissive, I ain't even heard of this stuff.
Well, the other thing is when you have because it's not necessarily just that. It's just Han doesn't like to give up control to some force he can't see.
True. Okay, well, that's true, but I'm just saying it's just a little
And Cameron said in the comics that Sidious did destroy the records, so that makes sense. That's why I'm no one understanding like, oh, I thought the Jedi were a myth or something like that. That I kind of get.
Oh no, that part I get. I thought they were a myth, but the fact is, like, this is within Han's lifetime.
But hold on, are they ever gonna follow through with that Ray movie they've been talking about for the longest time with like Mando?
What do you think, Jeff?
You mean torture? Dude, like, I look at it like this. As a Star Wars fan, you're in a box.
You are.
And they keep dangling things that you don't want in front of you, like Rian Johnson trilogy. And you're like, no thanks.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. It's like every month they're just dangling some like rancid, festering piece of like
Acolyte
something.
season 2.
Yeah, it's like, don't you want more? Look, I took a little holiday break from the video production, but I have a lot to say about Acolyte and other stuff and non-Star Wars.
Oh, don't get me started on Acolyte. We'd be here.
Dude,
Power of 3.
The of many. I love the Acolyte and Agatha all along because they got me monetized on Twitter. So thank you.
There you go.
Fair enough.
That
Because
sounds go.
Those shows are garbage, but they got that for me. So thank you. But everything that they keep dangling in front of you, like there are some things that most things were never going to happen. It's like, oh, Acolyte season 2, you knew for sure that a show about lesbian space witches was not going to equal a second season in this day and age.
Not that price cost.
Dude, no, these shows are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And then you go on to like Andor, which is $705 million.
Now, Andor was pretty decent. I wouldn't recommend it.
See, I'm going to go on the opposite. I'm going to agree with you that it's decent. Like, I don't dislike it at all. But what I'm going to say to you, though, is like, and I'm working on a video, so I don't want to tease too or spoil too much of the video. But it's the Acolyte and other shows, Mandalorian and such. And I don't even dislike Mandalorian, but those shows have an agenda to them. And it's not about the cultural or political agenda. It's we need to introduce a new merchandise line. We need to introduce a new cute character that we can sell.
Yeah,
but those are the shows that get all the attention that the websites go on about, that you get all these weirdos going on. We wanted a second and third season. Those people aren't even real. Those are the bots they talk about us being that didn't like The Last Jedi. But a show like Andor was never meant for that. And that's why like a show like Andor will get the praise from the critics and it will get the praise from a portion of the fan base, but it'll never be enough to move the needle. And that's why Disney Star Wars will always be your Ahsokas and your Acolytes and your Skeleton Crew and all these little things that they can merchandise, because they'll sell you the nostalgia, they'll sell you familiarity, and they think that's what Star Wars is. That's its only currency.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but that's the thing is, it's like that with all entertainment. I know I use Star Wars a lot as an example, but it's something I do love. But you can look at anything Marvel. Marvel's been turned into that. Look at Ghostbusters. Not even the female Ghostbusters movie. Ghostbusters. That movie's terrible. Don't get me wrong. But Ghostbusters is a franchise that they keep trying to do those things of market, merchandise, bring the next generation, sell you nostalgia. It doesn't matter how good or bad it turns out. After a while, it loses its luster.
That's true. By the way, we were talking about Marvel. Jared, there's one thing you and I forgot to bring up about something we're thankful for.
Which is?
One World Under Doom finally ending.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
Dude, how do you make...
Jeff, here's what Marvel did. So I'm going to pitch you the story of One World of Doom. Dr. Doom takes over the world.
I'm sold so far.
They made it boring.
How?
That's the question!
How do you like? Oh man, there's an old issue or episode of the Spider-Man cartoon where Dr. Doom almost takes over the world, and it's the best episode. You're like, wow,
how do you screw this up?
And here's how he took over the world. He became Sorcerer Supreme in the last event, Blood Hunt.
It's like you took. How did you ruin the character right before he's supposed? Marvel makes me mad for many reasons.
Yeah.
This is why I love Marvel. This is why.
You are betting the farm on Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Okay. Now, I understand that comics and movies don't necessarily go hand in hand, but what it is public perception of a character. If you're trying to make Dr. Doom be the biggest thing in Marvel coming up in the movies, and you bring him out with a limp attempt in a comic book to make him relevant, and you ruin one of the biggest stories ever, this is why Marvel synergy does not work. This is why I go into Ollie's and find rows of characters that won't sell, because there's that like disconnect that they keep doing. And this is
remember,
just one of them.
In the height of the MCU, they're like, let's just replace all the main characters in the MCU, like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. That's definitely not going to.
Oh, and let's claim. Oh, we had no idea the other editorial teams were doing this.
Now, some of that is due to because these actors became super big and profitable, and hiring them would eat up a chunk of the budget, like Ronnie Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Captain America. Those I can explain.
No. I'm not talking about replacing
them in the
movies. I'm talking in the comics, like all different Marvel.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Because what people forget is that all new, all different happened literally when the MCU was at its peak.
2013.
When you would have had the people coming from the movies to the comic book stores to pick up like comics about Thor, Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, and they're like, who the hell are these people?
Who's this Riri girl?
Yeah, I know. Who literally asked someone to oppress her.
I do need to actually upload that Ironheart review. I've been blowing that off for a hot minute.
By the way,
watch it yet?
I watched it. I just haven't.
I made it halfway through the first episode, and I was like, I'm out.
But I'll say this though.
Let me make this perfectly clear. I only did it as a fan request. Any other situation, I wouldn't have done it.
That's the worst part about being like a podcaster, because like your fans, because my fans made me read the entire run of Tom King's Wonder Woman that I hate with every fiber of my being, but they do. It's not mid. It's whatever. It's the complete opposite of mid, but on the negative side. But it's like you have those fans that just want to torch you.
Here's the other thing to say. Was DC though? DC's been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So I think that's a good place to leave it. So Jeff, let everyone know where they can find you, what you got coming out, and please welcome on the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. This has been a blast. I love talking comics. As you can tell, I'm nerding out with you right here on the show. So this has been a lot of fun for me. And it sucks, too, because in my real life, none of my friends are into it like this. Like, they'll watch Marvel movies, and they'll be like, hey, did you see this? Do you like that? But you guys, like, if I said to you, let's talk about the Trapster or the Abomination.
Wait, you mean Paste Pop Pete?
Exactly. I was almost about to call him Paste
There you go.
I had to.
People come to Comics League.
But I wanted to just thank you guys for having me. Folks, if you liked anything I was talking about, you can check out the World Class Bullshitters channel. We talk about Marvel and DC. We talk about comic book culture, popular culture, entertainment. We talk about new stuff, old stuff. It's an interesting show to listen to nowadays because we've been around for 10 years, and we will reference every once in a while how things have changed. And I don't mean like just for us. It's more like how Marvel has changed since we started the show or this and that. So if you want to have fun and listen to four guys who know about popular culture, check us out on Thursday nights at 8:30. But if you want this kind of stuff in your regular videos, subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Tuesday nights. And Stealing Solo. We have stealingsolo.com. You can get the first book. We have wokebusterscomic.com. I could ship out that book. That's an even bigger graphic novel, which makes fun of the world we live in today. And Stealing Solo 2 is available on Kickstarter till December 11th. So, folks, we have already passed our initial funding goal. So this is a guaranteed project. And the cool thing is, too, is I'm done. So this isn't one of those crowdfunders that it's like, it's done. I'll see you guys in a year. This book is done. And when the campaign closes, I'll get one more thing taken care of. That book will be to print, and it'll be shipped out, and it should be to you by late February. So that's what I'm shooting for. So this is a quick turnaround time at this time of year, but I'm excited and grateful to get to make these books. So that's where you can find me. That's what I do. And thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, and I would love to come on your channel to promo
Athena,
my comic.
Well, you just shoot me a message. That email address works for me too, and we'd love to have you on. Can have you on as soon as Tuesday or whenever works, because we have a lot of creators on, and that'll probably get you better reach than a Thursday show.
I'm down on Tuesday. I'm free on Tuesday.
All right. Just shoot me a message. My Twitter's acting wonky, but shoot me a message to the email and the Twitter, and we'll have you on.
All right, cool. Jay Heat, how about you?
You can find me at jheat75 or jheatblaze. I'm doing part 3 of my Dispatch review. Hopefully it'll get me through episodes 6 and 7. Also, Jeff, I just want to say, huge fan. I've been following the channel for a while.
Thank you.
And hopefully I get a chance to collab with you one day in the future.
Oh, absolutely, especially with your awesome logo in the background, because those are my
Oh,
initials. So I'm just like, that is like the best logo I've seen. I need to buy it from you.
thank you. But also New Direction Verse, I want to get that started. That's a little collab thing me and Jared have been doing for the past few years. Past 2 years, I should say, Jared. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and we have to actually continue that, sir.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to push for Heroes in Crisis either Sunday or Monday. But and I'm also doing another collab with Robert on What If. Well, basically, Ivan Zufrosh was canon. That's as much as I can say without going into detail. But yeah, and I'm trying to map for that within the next couple of days as well. So I also do streaming, gaming, podcasts.
Oh, nice.
Fan requests are welcome, but please make it reasonable, please, because the last time I ended up having to watch Ironheart.
Yeah, I tapped out on that show. That was not good.
Yeah, I got in there.
This man watched Gotham Knights.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch all of Gotham Knights.
You are
stronger than I am. I couldn't. I wouldn't.
I watched because here's the thing about me. It's like if a show is bad, there's a bit of morbid curiosity in there. I'm like, okay, how bad is this? Ironheart just happened to be so bad I couldn't make it through the first episode. I was like, I'm done. Gotham Knights, I'm like, I want to see how this butchers Batman to the point where the bat suit is just a suit with a Halloween bat mask. That's what we're
And if you are a Stephanie Brown fan, I feel sorry for you.
So sorry.
Avoid Gotham Knights like the plague. I am sorry.
Robert, how about you?
Well, but since everyone's talking about their stuff, I have my show Pro Teaches Noobs, where I go over comics with people whose books I've read, and I go over either summarize it or read the whole book to people who haven't read it and get their reactions to. Jared's been on plenty of times. Jay Heath's been on at least twice. And yeah, I'm already coming up. I can't believe it. I'm already coming up on 650. Can you believe, Jared? Can you believe it? How long ago was 600? Not that long ago.
Not that long ago, exactly. So, as for me, tomorrow movie night we're covering Flash, and then for the Superman Wonder Woman show, we're going to be discussing Mortal Kombat and how that franchise has like gone down, particularly with like Injustice and such. Because I hate Injustice with a fiery passion. Thank you.
I'm classic Mortal Kombat man. So
there you go. And then
9.
For on Sunday, I'm going to be talking about my top favorite Wonder Woman rogues, because there's not enough discussion about her like rogues gallery. She has a pretty extensive rogues gallery.
Don't forget with Super Pals, we're going to be doing that now at 10:30.
Yeah, on Tuesday. But as for everything else, yep, that's what I got. I'll play the trailer for Athena as we lock up there. Again, Jeff, always a pleasure. And we will see you guys later. All right. Stay at work, everyone. And where's the trailer in my... Okay, here we go. I got it. All right, I'll see you guys.
My home has been invaded, my people slaughtered, and I could not do anything to stop it. Not again. I will not lose another home, another family. I am Princess Lyra of the planet Sutragar, Athena, the goddess of thunder, and this is my story.